Hi, I'm Barbara Koenen. I'm an artist based in Chicago, and I'm happy to talk to you today about a project I've been working on for about 10 years, and I call it the War Rug Project. The War Rug Project was an extension of work that I was doing as an artist in my studio anyways, when I was painting lots of paintings where I'd mix oil paint and acrylic with household items like cat litter or jimmies or spices or other things around my house because I wanted my art to be part of my life. When I lost my studio, I started doing work with those same materials on the street as part of a show. For every day for a month, I'd go to a different part of downtown Chicago and I'd make a drawing on the sidewalk using spices and sugar and kind of responding to my environment. I called that Gree for Spring. When 9/11 happened and the US was attacked, the World Trade Center was attacked in the Pentagon, I, like everybody else, I think pretty much on the planet, was horrified and shocked and wondered what to do. And as an artist, I wanted to react with my art practice. So I began a process where I started thinking about war rugs, which are rugs like this that were woven by women, mostly, in Afghanistan, starting in the late 1970s when the Soviet Union invaded there. And what happened is that the women who are the weavers started weaving these images of weapons into their traditional rug pattern. This looks like a Persian rug, an Oriental rug, but if you look closely, here's a bomber and here's a helicopter. And I had heard about this a while ago, and it was disturbing to me that that would happen. At the same time, I was inspired by Tibetan monks who make sand mandalas. There's other kinds of traditions around the globe, too, of people who make temporary artworks using spices or colored sand and sugar as prayers or meditative practice. So I began combining those two things and doing temporary installations where I would recreate a war rug using spices on the ground, and then leave it there to see what would happen. Would it be okay? Would people touch it? Would people walk through it? In the very beginning, when I go to my spice warehouse and I get them, they're bright, bright colors, bright red, bright yellow. You can kind of see the bright yellow of the turmeric. That one is the last one to fade. Oops. Usually it takes 4 days, 5 days, sometimes a whole week of me getting there and just taking my hand and a couple of tools that I've made and pushing the spices around to recreate the pattern. When the whole rug is completed, the final touch is that I add fringe. We make fringe, my husband helps me make the fringe, Tim, using cotton cord, but then we add popper firecrackers glued to the fringe. And so here's some stars and bars, popper firecrackers. And these are carefully glued to the end of the cotton cord. And then if you walk on it, oops, you'll hear it. So the spice war rugs are intended to appeal to your sight, your sound, your taste, your touch, and your smell. At the end of each exhibit, we make prints of the installation. We take gel medium and we put it on a canvas and then lay it down on top of the spices and lift off the top layer. And you get an impression of what was left, and we usually make 3 pulls. And by the end, the pictures of the weapons have been destroyed. So this is a print of a recreation of this carpet, but instead of it being out of wool, the tanks and the helicopters and the jets and the grenades are made out of poppy seeds and mace and cinnamon and turmeric and other kinds of spices. It was a nice juxtaposition for me because Afghanistan is part of the Silk Road, which is where all the trading happened for a millennia. So people traded spices and people traded rugs, and this seemed a really excellent way to kind of call attention to that. I have a couple goals. One is I want to honor the work of the Afghan women who wove the war rugs in the first place. And I want to use them as an opportunity to reflect on the impact of war on culture. Ultimately, I want women to be part of nation building in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in the US. That's why I'm doing the War Rug Project. And my gesture, I hope, is one that encourages people to think about why women should be part of the conversation when we talk about war and when we talk about peace.